Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Eric Johnson. So today we're going to talk about autistic rocking, and it could be a sign that you don't feel safe. A little bit about me: I was a full body rocker back and forth like this since I was 8 years old, and I just recently stopped, and I'm 48 now. So 40 years of rocking at least 3 hours a day. Towards the end, I was rocking 14 hours a day, just insanity. And it's just something that I did, and I pretty much rocked away 45,000 hours at least of my life. And so I want to just get to the bottom of it and start a new life and become a full, complete, utilized man in my manhood and not feel like I'm 8 years old anymore. So, what possibly could have triggered me to start rocking? There's many memories in my childhood that were disturbing and stressful, probably just like you. I mean, to have perfect parents is a far fetch for most people. Most of us had parents that had quick tempers, scary tempers, or other things happened that made us start to run from not only the situation, but inevitably running away from ourselves. And so I'm here to reintegrate all of my parts and to help you and guide you in doing the same thing. I'm not an expert. This video is for educational purposes only, and this is just my story. So let's talk about some bad memories. Let's get into it. Leave a comment below if you have any bad memories and if you're still running from those memories today. The first memory I have that was very traumatic was I was 4 years old, and I was with my dad, and we were driving through a boat harbor in California, and I had to pee, so he stopped the car, and there was a block of orange fiberglass in the corner because we're in a boat yard, and so there's fiberglass all around, and if you touch fiberglass, it makes you it can make you itch, and he didn't want me to bring it home and get all itchy and irritated and stuff. So he told me not to pick it up. And obviously, I'm 4 years old. I'm curious. He sparked my curiosity. So after I got done peeing, I ran over and started to pick it up. So he flew out of the car, or he was already out of the car. He could have been peeing next to me, I don't know. But he grabbed me and swung me around like a rag doll. He grabbed my arm, swung me around, and he just laid into me. He spanked me so hard that, I dribbled pee again into my pants, and then I was also embarrassed on top of that because cars were driving by, and I was embarrassed because I was getting whooped right in front of the public. So being 4 years old, you still have the feelings of embarrassment and shame and guilt and all that stuff. So after that, I believe I got back in the car and I was still crying. And I believe I looked up at him. I could see the back of his head because he was driving. And I believe that I was like, I'm done. I don't trust him anymore. I'm going to get him back. And I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel what I said back then. Inside my mind. The other instance was I was loving our dog. We had a Scotty, and he was in the yard, and I ran up to him, and I loved him so much. I love animals still today, and I gave him this great big hug around the neck, and I just gave him all my love, right? Like just fully opened up my heart, and he turned around and nipped me in the cheek. I don't know if you can still see it. I think it's over here somewhere. But he nipped me on the cheek. I mean, just went, burp, right? And it was so fast and jarring that my face turned red and it was stinging. And I ran inside, and I didn't want to tell my mom because I loved my dog so much. And I was embarrassed. I was like, I didn't want that to happen. It was out of my control. So I told my mom, I just started bawling. I was like, Clancy bit me, And I felt like I was betrayed because I just gave him all my love, and then he basically bit me in the face. Another time, my sister and I were home alone, I believe, for an hour, and a stranger rang the doorbell. And my sister and I were just like petrified. We were like, because we never had anyone come over to our house. My parents were not extrovert socialites, and we never had guests over. And so we were like, oh my gosh, there's someone at the door. And so that was scary. And then another time, I believe my mom was bathing me, and she turned around to get some shampoo or something, and I slipped. I slid into the water. I think water got over my nose, and I felt like I was drowning. I don't even know if that was real. Could have been a dream, but I still felt like I couldn't trust my mom. So I had all these issues, and then when I was 8 years old, we were watching TV, and I just started rocking back and forth on the floor, and it felt good. It felt like I was moving. It felt like I was moving places. I felt like the fantasy world opened up. I felt like I could control my reality. I felt like they couldn't harm me if I was moving back and forth. And later actually recently, I discovered that moving back and forth, body rocking, can actually promote dopamine. And so it's a feel-good drug that we can release. We release it when we eat good food. We release it with sex, with drugs, with alcohol, with checking your email, seeing that you got likes on a post. Everything is geared to give us dopamine and to feel good. So I craved that dopamine, and I started rocking every single day. And then I discovered music, so I had headphones on, and I started rocking with that. And then I discovered alcohol when I was 17, and that was like a magic formula, and it hit me right away. I was in love with it, so I would rock, have music, and drink. And then I had cigarettes, and then coffee, and then sugar, and then sex. So I just started accumulating all these coping mechanisms, all these addictions, all these dopamine creators, okay? And eventually it depleted me, made me more anxious, made me messed up, made me drop out of schools and breakups and car wrecks and jail and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just stop rocking now. I'm done. I'm going to see where it leads me, and I'm going to trace it all the way back to the inner child. And so this video is about basically doing inner child work, because that's where it all began. That's where it all began, is the inner child did not feel safe. Or the child didn't feel safe, and that inner child is still with you. My 8-year-old self is still with me. The 5-year-old boy is still with me. And the inner child is supposed to be playful and joyful and feel safe. And if we didn't have that environment growing up, then you could still be rocking today. You could still be stimming. Most of us are stimming. It's a self-soothing trait. Stimming just means self-stimulation. We could do that by whistling, by humming, by twirling our hair, by biting our nails, by twitching our feet, by picking scabs, by anything could be considered stimming almost. So if you want to stop all this stimming behavior, I think what you have to do is go right back to the source, and that is to look at your inner child and to start doing inner child work. It might sound kind of woo right now to you, but look it up on YouTube. There is so much inner child work that you can do. And there's inner child hypnosis, where you can go back and literally revisit your child. They call it reparenting. So what you do is you basically go back to your inner child, and what you can do is actually trace these bad memories, like the ones I told you in the beginning, the dog biting my face, my dad spanking me. You can actually close your eyes and sit still and do it when you have time alone, and so you can really go deep with this. Close your eyes and in your imagination or your mind's eye, go back to the first bad memory that you can remember and go back as your adult self. Okay, so visualize you as an adult going up to you as a child and embrace your child and say it's okay. It's okay that that happened. It's not your fault. You are not at fault here, okay? It's going to be okay. You are loved and supported. I love you and I will not let you go anymore. Now, I've done child work in the past and it didn't work because I would go back out and do bad things, okay? And the inner child got scared again and hid again, okay? So if you want this to be more effective, you have to be safe. You have to create a safe environment for your inner child. So don't go out and get wasted after doing inner child work. Don't go get into an argument with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. Try to stay calm and try to stay peaceful. Okay, so if you're drinking and smoking cigarettes and drinking 8 cups of coffee a day, try to start cutting those things out. I would work on your least powerful addiction first and work your way up to the most profound addiction that's really hard to quit. You might have to do 12-step programs. You might have to call in your guided angels. You might have to do angel work or shadow work. You can look these terms up, but basically you have to go back and heal your child. And then your adult life will start making sense. You might actually start laughing and smiling more. It might amaze you how much you can do. The last thing is to set intentions. Okay, intentions are super powerful. It's basically you telling yourself what you want done, and you can also bring in your guided angels as well. Archangels are very powerful in doing spiritual work, so you can bring in Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Uriel, Seraphim, and there's many more. You can look those up as well, and also bring in your guided angel, your guardian angel, and say, I intend to heal my past, to feel loved again, and to not only feel loved, but give back to others the love that I did not get as a child. I intend to become complete and whole again and feel loved by the universe and everyone around me. Intentions are very powerful, and if you do it consistently every single day, they will start to work. You can also do mirror work where you look at yourself in the mirror. You can do Ho'oponopono work, which means you could say, I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, I acknowledge your pain, you are safe now. Okay, so that is an adaptation. I changed the regular Ho'oponopono. The regular Ho'oponopono that was the original was, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. That was the original Ho'oponopono. And what Ho'oponopono is basically there was a Hawaiian doctor in a mental asylum on the Big Island or whatever, and he would say that every single day while looking at files of his patients who were supposedly insane and locked up. And he did that for 2 years. He looked at the files of each person and said, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And he did that with all his heart. And eventually, 2 years later, the whole hospital was pretty much emptied out because they all got healed from his powerful intention. So you can do the Ho'oponopono to yourself when you wake up in the morning. And if you're an autistic rocker like I was, in fact, this is day 6 of no rocking, I sat still this morning. I didn't listen to music, which is the other 40-year addiction I have, is music along with the rocking. No music, because music is actually a thought of its own. So if you're listening to music, it can actually distract you from really getting to the bottom of who you are, your true identity, okay? So I turned off the music and I just sat still literally for an hour. And a lot of people, it freaks a lot of people out sitting still. because we're all kind of running from something, okay? But there is no boogeyman, there is no demon. There might be demons, but you can scare the heck out of them by doing some great prayer work, and connecting to Jesus and your archangels and whatnot. But sit still, and then you can do the I love you. I'm sorry, Eric, or whoever your name is. Say, I love you. I'm sorry, your name. Please forgive me. You are safe now. I love you. Okay? I acknowledge your pain. You're safe now. I love you, Eric. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I acknowledge your pain. You are safe now. And you can do that also looking in the mirror at yourself. Mirror work is very powerful. You could also just look into your eyes for 10 minutes a day and just get to know yourself again. A lot of us, we're even scared to look at ourselves in the mirror. And that's because we've been running. But it's time to reintegrate everything and get back to that whole state that we're meant to be. So I hope you like this. Hit the subscribe button. Welcome to the journey. If you're a stimmer like I was, you're going to see a lot of ugly days, but you're going to see some great days. I welcome you to this journey. Leave a comment if you're new here. Tell me if you're running from something. Tell me if you're a stimmer. And I'd love to hear from you. So we'll talk to you soon.